Welcome back, guys. Let's take a look at the altcoins, which I'm most excited about to give us that 10x, especially during this period when the market is very quiet and down. So we're looking at the DeFi sector, and if you've been following the channel, you probably know which cryptos we're looking at. But let's go into a little more detail, especially on these cryptos against their Bitcoin chart and their Ethereum chart, and just how we could get this 10x. So if you haven't already, help us out. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon, and check out the links in the top of the description. The free newsletter is coming out tomorrow, and there's also the links there for SwiftX if you want to purchase cryptocurrency in Australia. And the Bybit winners were announced. I'll leave that in the top of the description as well. 4,000 USD in Ethereum going out to you guys specifically from this channel as well. So a lot of good stuff down there. Let's start and give us the nice detailed update of Bitcoin. Pretty much these little yellow rectangles are basically the areas that I want to see the market cross for some more bullishness. So it's to the upside, and to the downside would be where we could basically say that the market is going to slow down even further. So if it goes past $39,000 to $41-ish thousand, I would say that we're going to slow down for a lot longer than what we're currently at. Now, DeFi might continue to move, and it definitely seems like that on the chart. You know, we've been covering that for a while now, and I don't know why that is. It could be that the market is ready to move, the accumulation has taken place. That's all part of the reasons when a market is ready to go, it just goes. So let's look at that on the chart as well. Basically, that's the update for Bitcoin. Nothing has happened. And rather than beat a dead horse, we just take a look at the levels, and the market's basically sideways at this point in time. The fear is at extreme fear, so we're at 23. And according to our chart here, we're at 29 yesterday, 29 the day before, then back down to 21. So we're just hovering between extreme fear and normal fear, whatever normal fear is. All right, so to Curve, and I pop this up to our members in Patreon and Premium. You can find a link to this down below if you want to learn more around trading and investing. The links are all down there. Check out Patreon. It's early in the month as well. We do weekly reports on the markets, and then also my altcoin portfolio is there as well. 650. So I was talking with the members about this at around 490, just looking at this starting to break past resistance levels. The market cap's at $2.5 billion, and at that $4.90-ish valuation, it was at around $1.9 billion. So I'm looking at these as that sort of 10x crypto. If it takes time, it takes time. Remember, we have looked at CRO, that took time, and we got the 10x there. Solana, that was a little quicker. Nice 10x on that one as well. And obviously there's been quite a few more throughout the year, but they're the main two that we've looked at recently, and just trying to get a feel for that 10x and how much it takes and the patience and what we're looking at on the chart. All right, so the market cap, $2.5 billion. The fully diluted market cap is basically $21.5 billion. So there is quite a lot of tokens still to be released. And the main thing I want to look at here is we're currently at early January, and it should say there's around 930 odd million CRV. Basically, you can see the release schedule still shows a lot of CRV to come out, and it's going to be released from the team, from rewards, from anything there. The main thing we want to note that is if the demand drops, then there's still more getting pushed out. Therefore, the price is probably going to come down, even if the project is good and everything is going well. It's just that there's going to be more supply coming out into the market. Curve is still doing really well. We've got our 10% Curve dominance here. Curve is at a total value locked of 24 billion. And so you got the market cap against the total value locked is 0.1. So the market cap about 2.4 billion, total value locked 24 billion. I think there's going to be a big catch-up game here as well to value Curve closer to the value locked on Curve at the moment. So Curve is 9.6. A lot of other good projects here as well, but we're just looking at Curve for the moment, and then we'll get on to our Sushis and Yearn Finance as well. So Curve USD, I've just squeezed the chart up here and just want to have a look at where we were at around at 490 to give us the 10x. So there's a 900%. The 10x is about $49. So could be a long way until we get there. Patience, 10x. It's not going to happen overnight. And the levels from that around 490, $5. If I want to get to my 5x, then that comes out at around $24. So I don't think that's too far off. If I do the 400% or 5 times the current previous valuation at 2 billion, it's a 10 billion valuation. So I think that's still within the realm of the market being able to get there and obviously make it worthwhile for the return that I'm looking for in my portfolio. Basically, I don't want to be getting into cryptocurrencies and just looking for 20, 30%, 50%. I want a few X multiples on them because the downside is obviously there. We could lose 50%, 60%, 70%. So we need the 3X, 4X, 5X minimum to make up for the risk to the downside. Curve against BTC, it's looking pretty healthy. It's broken out of these resistance levels of 9,000 Satoshis. We're at 14,000 Satoshis now. Next resistance I'm looking at is about 16 to 17,000. And then if I can get to the 50%, or if we can get the market to 50%, then we're sitting at around 25,000 Satoshis. So I would expect some sort of reaction once we get to these points that we looked out for. And if we get a pullback and then a higher low form, so move up and we start to pull back, that could be another entry opportunity at a higher low. So it's still in a bullish position. Curve against ETH has just broken past the 50%. So this is another good sign that we can see that the crypto is finding strength against Ethereum as well. So we'll continue to cover this. 0.0017. That's definitely something that I look for with the cryptos that I'm trading, especially if I'm going to be risking USD and ETH and anything else. They have to move against Ethereum. So I can see the lows are in here. That's around the level that I would look to exit this trade and just say it's done. But of course, we've just broken past the 50%. So this is pretty bullish. And this is a nice play that has actually got past the 50%. So Curve is looking good on all fronts at this point in time. Sushi is a 1 billion market cap, fully diluted at 2 billion. So for a 10x, a $10 billion seems pretty reasonable, especially as we've seen Uniswap up there. And when these things get going, we don't know where they stop. They just keep going. So at the moment, Sushi has been on a long downtrend. That's what we want to see as well. And we want to see the market put in some higher lows. You can see nice and close here. Got in some small higher lows and then a big move to the upside, rejected at 50%. And so I'm looking towards this area here of 0.0001 to 16. So I like that as a bit of a zone for an entry if I'm looking to take a trade on Sushi. As I mentioned, if you guys want to know more about my trading and my portfolio, check out the link at the top of the description. That's for Patreon, where we talk more about the trades over there as well. 50%. Next level as we come back to test is at, that'll be 16,000 and then potential entry. And then we want to see this market start to push back up and break past this double top, which was set at about 22,000 Satoshis. So that's Sushi against BTC. At this point in time, where I definitely want to be seeing these alts move up against their BTC value. If I look at it on USD, it just got rejected at around $10. So again, that's at its 50%. So the dollar value, the pullback, would be between around 6 and about 750 as well. So that could be another entry point there. The nice thing here, big push up, and now the market's fading from that. So you'd want to see these bigger moves to the upside, especially if we're looking to have a low form. So Sushi's not looking too bad either. Total value locked is pretty good, $5.4 billion, and the market cap's only $1 billion. All right, so the last one here is Yearn Finance. Talked about it a few times. The total value locked also looking good, 5.7 billion with a market cap of 1.4, fully diluted 1.4. Basically, all of the YFI tokens are out there, so that's a nice difference compared to Curve, which there's still more supply coming onto the market, which could push the price down. But for Yearn, it's all out there, and we're starting to see higher lows form as well. This move is shorter than the previous move. So to me, I would say that we might see some sideways at this point unless the market pushes higher and starts to equal this move right here. So that's the move at the low and to the high. And then I would move this and connect it to the low and look to the next high. So the area I'm looking for is 1.036. So that would mean it would be a measured move, and then I'd look for a correction from there. But if we get a correction here, then this is a shorter move, meaning that there's going to be some short-term weakness in the market. So that's what I'll be looking for as another entry for YFI. So this is against the Bitcoin value, of course. And then for the USD value, it's at 38,500, and those numbers coming back to the halfway point is around $28,000 to $30,000. So should this hold, I do like that as a longer term hold here. It sounds good. You know, we could see this hit $100,000 before Bitcoin. And then I think that would also play into the minds of a lot of probably new investors just wondering how the hell this thing is possible. But essentially it's just a very, very low market cap. So that's YFI. And in terms of a 10x, we are sitting at 1.4 billion. 14 billion gives you that 10x. So these aren't too far off, but because the market is quiet at the moment, I wouldn't expect these things to blow up anytime soon, nor do I think they would take off and hit that quite quickly. I think these might be something that grind away at this point in time, especially, as I said, because the market is not really doing too much. The energy is just not there. Speaking of the energy not there, Matic, which was across everyone's minds and channels and mouths, is now not being spoken about. So this is the time that I want to bring this up. If no one's speaking about it, generally because the price is going down, generally that's the time you want to be looking to enter a position, is when the price is coming down, if you have a long-term view that the market is actually in a bull market. So I still see this as a bull market. Higher lows, that's pretty straightforward. 50% level, about $2.20. I was looking at entries here at 190, and then across the BTC pair and the ETH pair was at about 0.0004847, and then for Bitcoin it was at 3,600 Satoshis as it broke through these highs right here. So we've pushed up, the energy's come off Matic, and I'm waiting for this now to pull back and give me another entry to get back into Matic, because I only got a little bit in and then the market took off without me. So I like this now that no one's talking about it. You can give another entry, provided we see this market start to pull back to its 50% levels at around 39 or at around 3,300 Satoshis. Ideally, you don't want to see it break back down into this zone. Otherwise, this move up would be over. So down back to this area is fine, but underneath, probably a lot weaker. That's the update for Matic. No one's talking about it. Usually a good time to start having a look and setting yourself up for another position. Speaking of which, check out the links down below. SwiftX is down there, and of course Bybit. Maybe you won $1,000 of ETH. Go and check out your account on Bybit. Check out the winners down below as well. And like, subscribe, bell notification icon. I'll catch you guys at the next video or in Patreon. Until then, have more fun to get more done.